Hi everyone. So we are going to start the Java course, which is from very basics to advanced. So the first topic I want to cover is history of programming languages, because we know that Java is a programming language. So I want to start from very beginning as to when these programming languages started. There are two types of programming languages. One is low level and high level. The low level language is which is very understandable by the computer. It requires no transformation, no translation, and it is directly understood by the computer. It is of two types. One is machine language and other is the assembly language. The machine language is in the form of 1010. It is digital. So if we were trying to use that machine language, we need to remember all the codes and all the memory addresses we need to remember. It is hard to amend because even if you want to write A, you have to write, a combination of 1010, and it is of course hard to remember that. So it is also hard to amend and find errors in a program, because if you by chance typed in 0 instead of 1, it's going to change the whole code. So because of all these disadvantages, that it is difficult to remember, and again it is also machine dependent, assembly languages were introduced. Now assembly language, they were introduced to overcome the inconvenience of machine language. So it had alphanumeric codes, for example, which are also called numeric codes, and it it is basically add for addition, sub. Even for assembly language, they were converted to machine code by a language translator, and then they were executed by computer. So they were a little slow than the machine language, but they were easier for a human to understand because they were mnemonic codes for each and every operation you want to do. Now, the main disadvantage of low level languages were that they require they were the user needs to basically learn the codes, right? They should be familiar with the codes, and they should be also familiar with the hardware, because of the type of language. Now, while because of these problems, high level languages were introduced, which were using the format which is slightly similar to English. The main purpose of developing the high level languages were that they are, understandable by the human. Now, if you type something in high level language, there was an interpreter or a compiler in between who used to change it into the machine language, which is in a form of 1010, and that was understandable by computer. Now I won't get into Visual Basic and basics, and there were many other programming languages which are high level languages which were introduced before C, but I'll just jump on to C, which was a procedural programming languages, which is, we say that it was based on assembly language. It uses top down approach, but it was still machine dependent, which means that if you have compiled a code on a particular operating system or a particular system, you have, if you want to run it on some other computer, you have to compile it again. Then uh, then C++ was introduced, which is object oriented language based on the concepts of classes and objects. And we say that C++ is an extension of C with object oriented concepts. And then after C++, Java came into picture, which is pure object oriented language. It was platform independent. Once you compile a code on a particular language on a particular computer, it converts it into bytecode, and that can be executed on any platform. That is the beauty of Java, and that's why it is very popular. So we will get into more about Java in the next class. This is how we got to Java, which is a pure object oriented language. Thank you.